Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back. So today we're going to be testing the Runcam Robin. Now this was just recently released and we're going to do its latency testing. So we're not going to do any flight footage or video footage. So if you're looking for that, this is not going to be the video right now. This is just merely a latency testing video. Now this comes as a combo with the Runcam DVR. Now what's really nice about the Runcam DVR I've also tested is that it does not add latency, and it also adds the ability to control the DVR through Betaflight as well as control the camera settings, which is really cool. So it does have some sort of a path through. The instruction manuals can show you how to do that, and if you're interested to seeing how to do that, let me know down in the comment section and I'll prepare a video for that. So let's put the DVR to the side because they do come as a combo, and let's go ahead and take a look at this. So you can tell their packaging is really nice, very minimal, which is really good. They don't have these really big boxes for no reason. I mean, they could possibly still go smaller here. So as you can tell here, we get this clear adapter. So if you wanted to go from, I think, a micro to a mini, I think this is what this is for here. And here we have our cable and just some M2 screws for the camera. Now, if we take a closer look at the camera here, they do come in different flavors, you know, NTSC or PAL, and it also comes with different lenses. So if you like a specific field of view, you can go ahead and find that. Now, this is a 700 TV line camera, which is pretty good. Anything above that, it doesn't really translate into our goggles anyways. So, but yeah, this is really nice. It also has wide dynamic range as well as DNR, which should be very good in low light conditions. If we take a closer look back here, we also see we have our 5 to 36 volt input, which is really nice nowadays. Ground, video, and we also have ground and menu. This is going to be for the OST, and I believe also to control the camera here. So that's going to be really nice. And back here, there is no plastic. It's just this like little thick piece of paper plastic, as you can tell, that's covering the components. It'll save weight, and at the same time you run the risk of possibly damaging in a very hard crash, you know, popping a capacitor off. But you know, I've never had that happen to me, but it can happen. But it's something you have to live with these type of micro cameras, because all of them do that really. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start preparing this for our first latency test. Now we're gonna test it with the LED turning on and the LED turning off. It gives us a clear visual representation of how well it's performing. So, and it is a CMOS sensor, so I am giving it the benefit of the doubt that it's gonna be really fast. So let's go ahead and prepare everything, and let's take our first tests. All right guys, so let's go ahead and take our first sample. So the first sample is going to be with the LED turning on, and that's what we just got here right now. So as you can tell, the LED booted up, and it didn't recognize it. Well, it didn't show up in the video signal until we got to around right here. So let's go ahead and see how many milliseconds that would be. That is going to be around 1.8 milliseconds, which is pretty insane right here. Now, something really nice about this currently is that from this point here to this point here is a half of a frame. So when the LED turned on, you can see that it even registered in the same half a frame, which means we have a rolling shutter, which is really good in terms of speed and latency. So that is, what is that? 1.8 milliseconds. That is, that's really good actually. But you won't actually visually see it until possibly the end of this frame here. All of them are like that, but this is how I've been testing latency. So around 6 milliseconds, that's because, you know, there's no video feed being outputted here because it's a synchronization pulse. Let's go ahead and take another sample just to get a better idea of what's really going on here. All right, so yeah, around 2 milliseconds here. Now, if you just wanted to know a little extra, so we can say like to the peak of the LED is around 5 milliseconds. This is really good. This is really fast. And this is something you kind of want to see, and this is something that we use for racers. And again, I don't know the camera quality just yet, but I don't think it's going to be bad personally, but you know, you just never know here. So it's registering really quick. I mean, it's consistent. Let's see from the point where it actually picks up the LED turning on. 2 milliseconds, and that is amazing. You know, some cameras were reaching 35, 40 milliseconds, which is yeah, it's really consistent. Look at this. I'm gonna keep it right at 1.72 milliseconds. And let's just take another sample, see what happens. See how consistent it is and actually starting to pick. Look at that. That's just perfect. Yeah, it's perfectly consistent. Now, the only thing that will vary its latency is if we do have a pre-equalization pulse within this band here. So as you can tell, it's very consistent. Like I mentioned, if we had this in here, then we would have had an increase in latency, but not by much. This is a really small area. The equalization pulses are really tiny. They don't take much time. We can see it really just started to pick up here. We almost got caught in the middle of an equalization pulse. It's really consistent. Now let's go ahead and switch over to the LED turning off. Usually we see some increase in latency here. So here we go, and we're gonna go ahead and take another sample, and let's see how it does. Sometimes it could be sometimes I just need to take more than one sample here. Let's just take another one. Okay, so we're gonna have to zoom out a little because I think we do possibly might have an increase in latency here, and we do actually. So with the LED turning off, possibly with the wide dynamic range and everything, it's around 16.9 milliseconds here. So yeah, we'll just zoom out a little bit more so we can get an idea. Yeah, so around 16.9 milliseconds. Usually this is the case with a lot of cameras here. It's really consistent in both ways. So this is possibly due to the software side, you know, the wide dynamic range and all these types of things that are causing it to dissipate this low. So what's really going on here is it probably does notice that the LED turned off like out 2 milliseconds like it usually does. But in order for the wide dynamic range to keep getting as much information as possible, it kind of possibly amplifies the picture and increases the brightness in order for you to keep seeing what you're seeing. So this isn't really a definite latency latency for the LED turning off. Now, turning on is a pretty good indicator, but again, you know, take this with a grain of salt. This is, you know, you could take this as you please. I'm just here testing it for you, and so you can decide for yourself. But in terms of latency, I think it's doing pretty good. And so like I currently say, it's around 16.9 milliseconds, 1.72 milliseconds of latency for the LED turning on. So we can say, you know, it's within the golden zone either way, which is really nice. Anything, you know, below 25 milliseconds is great. Anything above 35 milliseconds, it starts getting weird. And some people truly can feel it. I could feel it personally. All right, guys, and as you saw, the latency testing was pretty good. So this one tested okay, nothing bad. And there's obviously faster cameras, but this still did a really great job. Now, the part with the LED turning off could be due to the wide dynamic range. It can actually be turning off by increasing the exposure or something in order for you to keep giving you a stable image. But this is just all theoretical, what I'm saying here. And I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If I did help you make a purchase, it would be very nice if you could use the links down below when you make your purchase. That greatly supports this channel and testing such as this. And well, that's it, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.